The Charitable Foundation for Salem Community Hospital proudly presents the 2011 Shining Star honoree, Dr. Leonard S. Pritchard. Recipients of the Shining Star represent the best and the brightest of Salem Community Hospital's retired healthcare professionals. Each recipient has dedicated his or her life to the well-being of our community through their dedication to excellent patient care and voluntary and philanthropic efforts. Dr. Leonard S. Pritchard exemplifies these characteristics and much more.
The Shining Star Award is a new recognition for people who have been very important to our hospital and the community. Dr. Pritchard was one of the first people in the area that I met when I first came on staff 26 years ago. And one of the things that I remember about him was his smile, very engaging, always made you feel at home and like he took such an interest in the person that he was talking to. Along with some other physicians on staff, he was one of the mentors for the younger physicians on staff like me.
The only child of Hazel S. Pritchard and Leonard Charles Pritchard, he was born on December 27, 1924 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Young Stiltsy, his family's nickname for him, was a bright child who was lovingly raised by his mother and grandparents. While Stiltsy aspired to be an English professor, his mother, an executive secretary, wanted him to do well in life and encouraged him to seek a career in medicine. An accomplished pianist who would eventually go on to play for Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Hazel Pritchard provided the piano lessons that nurtured her son's natural talent. A graduate of Pittsburgh's Langley High School, Dr. Pritchard was working as an engineering draftsman when World War II broke out. A member of America's greatest generation, he served his country by enlisting in the United States Air Force and serving in the China, Burma, and India theaters. He earned the rank of sergeant and worked as a weatherman, charting fronts and making observations that were sent to the U.S. Air Force stations. His work helped pilots safely pass over the hump, as the Himalayan mountains were known. To this day, he is fascinated by the weather and continues to keep weather records. Following his service, Dr. Pritchard was accepted at the University of Pittsburgh, where he would complete his undergraduate degree in English and attend medical school. He went on to complete an internship at Pittsburgh's Shadyside Hospital and a locum tenens in Mercer, Pennsylvania. In 1954, he established his practice in Columbiana, Ohio, where he would remain for the next 35 years. A board-certified family physician, Dr. Pritchard's chief subspecialty was obstetrics. Over the course of his career, he delivered approximately 2,000 babies, including a memorable delivery in the back of a police car parked in his home's driveway. Kathy Hoover worked side by side with Dr. Pritchard in his Columbiana medical practice.
Dr. Pritchard called me and asked me if I would be interested in becoming his office nurse, and I was working at the hospital at the time, and I thought it sounded like a good job. Dr. Pritchard was great to work for. He was always laughing, and very comfortable to work with. Our typical day was we would start seeing patients as soon as he got back from the hospital, and we worked until the very end, and sometimes we didn't get home till 7:30 at night, but it was as long as he saw everybody that needed to be seen that day. In thinking about memories of working with Dr. Pritchard, we could actually write a book. We talked about that, of funny things that would happen during the day, and sometimes sad things too. But the memories I have are that he was friends to all his patients. If a patient came in for a blood pressure check and they ended up wanting to talk about World War II, that's what they talked about. And so he was actually a counselor as well as a physician.
Dr. Pritchard was an active member of the medical staff at Salem Community Hospital and served on a number of committees that ensured the delivery of quality care. He was privileged to serve as President of Staff, Chief of Medicine, Chief of Staff, a member of the Executive Committee, and a member of the Hospital Board of Trustees. His professional memberships included the Ohio State Medical Association, the American Medical Association, and the Ohio Academy of Family Practice. He is also a past president of the Columbiana County Medical Society and was listed in Who's Who in Ohio. Dr. Pritchard has been married to his wife Joanne for the past 37 years. He has 2 children, Ginny and Carl, 5 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. His daughter Ginny fondly recalls going to the hospital with her dad where he would make his rounds.
Fridays we used to go grocery shopping at Persky's, for those of you who remember Persky's in Salem, and after we were done at Persky's, we'd go to the hospital to wait for Dad to be done with his rounds. And my brother and I, to keep us out of trouble, my dad made little tongue depressor name tags. And we'd hook on the name tags and we'd hop on the elevator, and for the rest of the morning, we were elevator operators. We would ask the patients and the doctors what floor they'd want to go to, and we would very nicely press the button for them. And so that was our little job. That was my memory of Salem Hospital as I was growing up.
Dr. John R. Madison, a longtime colleague of Dr. Pritchard's at Salem Community Hospital, shares his love of medicine and music.
Well, Dr. Pritchard was a family doctor, and therefore would refer cases that needed surgery. And back in those days, the family doctors were the first assistants. So he would come to the surgery and stand on the opposite side of the table and assist on many different surgeries. Well, long before I got interested, Dr. Pritchard had organized a band I think he called the Hypodermics. And there was a dentist in there, and Pritchard and I was in there. And one day he asked me to come over and play. And the man who played the trumpet decided he didn't want to do it anymore. And so at that point I became the trumpeter. And for many years we did that. We went to places in Columbiana, street fairs, most of it in the summer, dances, things of that nature. We were fairly well accepted, I thought.
In addition to the Dixieland Band, Dr. Pritchard has shared his musical accomplishments on the piano, theater organ, and calliope. Anyone who has been to a Columbiana parade or 4th of July celebration will remember hearing sounds reminiscent of the circus played by Dr. Pritchard on his calliope, lovingly named Pritch's Pipes. He helped to advance the study of organ as president of the Pittsburgh Area Theater Organ Society. Dr. Pritchard also shared his musical talents as a faithful member of the Columbiana Presbyterian Church. In addition to being a substitute pianist and organist, he actively served the faith community as a ruling elder, trustee, and choir member. An accomplished woodworker, sculpting and furniture building have been lifelong hobbies. Visitors to his home are delighted by the many works of art he has produced over the years, from a look-alike life-size carving of an Indian chief to an end table carved as a stack of books. His subjects are as varied as his interests. Even though he was a busy physician, Dr. Pritchard made time to volunteer in the community. A local politician, he was Columbiana councilman for 8 years and also served as president of council. He has served as a member of the Columbiana Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals. He found time to be active in the Republican Party and served on their Central Committee. For several years, he shared his writing skills as a regular columnist for the Morning Journal and was also the president and longtime newsletter editor for the Columbiana Historical Society. He was president of Columbiana's Kiwanis Club, president of the Columbiana Park Board, and the Columbiana County Board of Health. He also served on the boards of the Red Cross, Columbiana Chamber of Commerce, the American Cancer Society, the County Board of Mental Health, and the American Legion. His fraternal memberships include Phi Rho Sigma, a college honor fraternity, Sigma Chi, and the Masonic Lodge. As the charitable foundation for Salem Community Hospital's first Shining Star honoree, Dr. Leonard Pritchard truly exemplifies the qualities this award celebrates. He has dedicated his life to God, family, and community in a way that others can only hope to emulate. For all he's done, we offer our thanks and congratulations. You are a shining star.